The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good day, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Ken Krell. Welcome to today's presentation, 10x Your Results in 2015, Your Plan for Freedom, Abundance, and Success. I want to make sure you hear me before we get started. So if you would do me a favor and pop into the chat. Let me just open up the chat here. Hey, Deb. Yay! Deb and Shanti are from San Francisco. Fantastic. Fabulous. Thrilled that you are here. Yay. Awesome. Excellent. So who else will meet? I see Dan is here. Fantastic. We're going to talk about you, Dan. That's excellent. Fantastic. So I see Deborah's here. Dennis Doriano, thrilled to have you here, one of our trailblazers. Eva's here. George Mason's here. Graham's here. Fantastic. Josie, I love you to pieces. You are here too. Kara's here. Mark's here. Rick, of course you're here. Rick, I'm thrilled to pieces. He's going to keep me entertained throughout this. My friend Sylvia's here. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, you guys, terrific. Great. Well, we have a lot to cover today. So let's dive in. And if you guys are ready, just do me a favor, pop in the chat and tell me you are ready to go. Just say, I'm ready. And we will proceed forthwith. By the way, this is going to be, as you usually know with me, those of you who have been with me for a while, Deborah says ready with exclamation points. Everything we do is participative. This will not be an unmuted event, as I do with our training and accountability programs. So I'll have you rely on the chat directly. So let's rock and roll. Like I said, we've got a bunch to do. This is a brand new presentation, brand new as in completed about, well, brand new. So we'll talk about how that gets done in just a few minutes. So here we go. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to exactly turn your time into more cash, more results, more happiness. And I'm going to show you a system that has made me thousands of dollars and built my new businesses within a few short months. So we're not talking about any of the old stuff. We're talking about all the new stuff that's happening right now that you guys, a lot of you have seen grow in front of your very eyes. So we're not talking about a book report from 2005, like other people have been teaching. Okay, and then you can learn how to put it all together and do the same thing for yourself and make your success, write down this word, or these two words, totally inevitable. And I want you to be taking notes today for sure. So if you don't have pen and paper, pencil and paper, or a notepad open on your computer, which will probably be more inconvenient if you did that because it'll be floating back and forth, just start taking some notes. The word inevitability is going to be a big word that we'll be using a lot. So what I want to do is I want to turn your actions into inevitability so that the success that you want happens automatically. In fact, that you set it up in advance so that no matter what you do, no matter what happens, you put that into place. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that's the big key right now is total inevitability, you guys. Total inevitability. Okay? So as I said, prepare to take notes. And for those of you who are not familiar with me, and most of you here are, because you've come from my list, but some of you have come from Google+. In fact, how many of you came in, let me ask this question because I'll just test our marketing. How many of you came in from the postings on Google+? Not people that are part of our groups like our faculty at TP courses or whatever, but how many of you have come in that were not familiar with me from the postings we did on Google+? That's the first time I've really ever done this kind of a big posting on Google+. So do let me know. So a few of you, excellent, great. Okay, so I'll go through this kind of quickly. This, by the way, is me and my tiger. Not my tiger necessarily, but for that moment it was my tiger. We bonded. I took this picture up in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and when you come to visit me, because I live in Bangkok, when you come to visit me, if I'm here, we can go up to Chiang Mai and we'll visit Tiger Kingdom, which is one of the ethical places that they take care and serve the tigers in the community. So for those of you that don't know me, they call me the Kenergizer, and you'll experience why over the next hour and a half or so. I'm the founder and executive director of the Institute for Totalpreneurship, where we help entrepreneurs become totalpreneurs, because totalpreneurs have it all. Over the past nearly 30 years, I've trained and coached thousands of people to make millions of dollars in real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. And my goal is to help turn you from entrepreneur or entrepreneur visionary into totalpreneur, so you can have the lifestyle that you want, and moreover that you deserve. So here's what you're going to learn over the course of our presentation today. We're going to talk about how you have been probably unconsciously sabotaging your success, even as you think you're moving forward. Kind of scary, isn't it? We're also going to talk about, excuse me, how to hack your actions to create results in advance. That's the inevitability I was talking about a minute ago. We're also going to talk about why you must get totally clear on your direction, your focus, and your purpose, or you risk being unfulfilled forever until you finally get to the point where you're so disgusted that you make changes. That point of being so disgusted is a place I don't want you to be. Although, quite frankly, when you get to that place, if you get to that place, that's when the biggest changes get made, and that's when the biggest focus happens. That's what it was for me. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So don't let that frighten you. We'll also talk about the key to leveraging your great success and how to access that as well. My goal is that by the time we finish today's session, you'll walk away knowing the steps you'll want to take to immediately create massive results over the next 12 months and beyond. And that's using, by the way, your existing resources and how to use leverage to turn your goals into real outcomes so you can really be a totalpreneur. Hopefully my voice will hold out for today. I don't know what's going on all of a sudden. So fasten your seatbelts. We're going to rock and roll. There are 3 keys, in my view, for you to be able to create your fantastic future. You might want to start writing these down. The first one is direction. The second one is focus. And last but not least is action. So it's direction, focus, and action. I'm going to dive into them very deeply. It's really important that we're clear. Direction, focus, and action. Because unless we have all 3 of those together, you've got nothing. Direction by itself is lovely. Focus by itself is nice. We can go focus on the beautiful picture on the wall. But if we don't actually take action about it, nothing's ever going to happen. It all starts with action. The great news is you got here because you took action. As easy as it was for you to open your email and get on this webinar, assuming you didn't have major issues, with GoToWebinar getting access to the webinar, the fact is you got here. You created a result. And it is that easy once we're clear. And we're going to get to that clarity and show you how to get to that clarity today. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest condensed version on how it all began, because I know the story. A lot of you know the story, but it's important for those of you that don't to be really clear that I'm you, okay? And what I mean is kind of been there, done that, got the T-shirt, lost the T-shirt, got the T-shirt again, lost the T-shirt a second time, and have been through that level of pain and discomfort that I mentioned a minute ago. So it's really important that you recognize that, because when you see where I am now did not come because I was born into it. It did not come because I clicked my heels. It came because I was bloodied on the ground, bankrupt twice. Okay, so it comes from that position of rising from the ashes like a phoenix. And for wherever you are in your world, the fact that you're here tells me that you want more, wherever you are. If you're doing great, you want more of great. If you're doing not so great, you want to get past that so you can have great. Am I right? If I am, pop in the chat, because we're going to be talking to each other through the chat over the course of the next little bit. So how it began for me was I was doing okay. I mean, I was making really actually great money in my real estate investments and my lifestyle. I was traveling all over the world. It was absolutely awesome, really great. And I had diversified my real estate portfolio internationally. I'd taken it to the next level, was developing land on the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, 500, oh my God, acres. It's just gorgeous. You get to the top of the mountain, and you just would look at it and go, oh my God, it was that exquisite. But I never saw the crash coming, because I thought my diversification of going internationally in real estate was enough. Boy, was I ever wrong. I had my blinders on. Big mistake. And I lost everything. And worse than that, I went down further beyond, because people thought that I had stolen money and done all sorts of bad things, and I was called all sorts of names, and that messed my head up big time. Big time. So in terms of starting, with 2 hands tied behind your back, blindfolded underwater, that's where I was. I was living rock bottom. Lost all my investments. Lost the houses back home. Mind you, when I invest in something, or if I bring in investors, and I brought in millions of dollars from investors, I put all my money into it too. I'm not one of those folks that will bring in someone else's money and don't put any of my own in, because that's the mark of something that you shouldn't trust. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So I lost everything. That was the houses, the cars, got all the accusations, millions of dollars in debt, of course, and all the retirement, the 401k, everything was invested in this project. And then I had a heart attack. So I was living life in failure land. I mean, bad news. Declare bankruptcy for the second time because once is certainly not enough in anybody's lifetime, right? And at that point, I had no list, no online reputation. Actually, I had a bad reputation. No money, no house, no car. And mind you, I had a fantastic 6,000 square foot house in Midtown Atlanta. I mean, the prime location. It was great, and lost all of it. Okay, and I couldn't even market myself at that point because the courts thought that I was hiding stuff, and so if they saw me going out into the public as Mr. Success and teaching any kind of motivation, it would have been a red flag. So I was advised I could not be out publicly, just could not. So trying to rebuild your life with those kind of scenarios, not real easy. So the bottom line was I had to sit back and go, okay, what comes next? What do I do? Do I remain a victim or do I press forward? So that was my big decision. From that point of hell, I had to pull myself and bootstrap myself out. It was not easy. It took me years, literally took me years. The biggest transformation for me, I will tell you right now, was working with a friend of mine who is an expert at EFT. That's energy tapping, and we tapped through the blockages that I had, which I think is super important, and I began to forgive myself. I wasn't worried about losing my nest egg. I knew I could make my money back, but I was devastated by the blame that was hoisted upon me. And some of you that have can relate to this, you know what I'm talking about. So what you're seeing right now is pictures over the past couple of years as I've come back from those ashes. Bottom line is that if I can do it, trust me, you can do it. No question about it. Every single one of you can do that. So that's the story in a nutshell. All right. I wanted to get past that so that you can understand that when we talk about creating success and creating a difference for you and creating massive results for you over this coming year, I've been able to do that and monetize it, maximize it, and come from a position of reality. I don't want to use. I want to say it that way. Coming from my source and my core, which guides me. Okay, because it's coming from being real rather than trying to make stuff up and fit someone else's vision. It's got to be your own vision for you to be successful. We'll get to that in a sec. All right. And what that's done for me now in today's situation is that we've created World Love Week, which you may be hearing a little bit more about. You'll certainly be hearing a lot more about it over the next few weeks and next 8 weeks. And for those of you that are on our faculty, we have this is kind of double dutying as a faculty meeting for our Totalpreneur Courses platform, which is effectively becoming the premier online destination for entrepreneurial education. We're about to go live with it within the next little bit. We're testing actually our e-commerce right now as we speak. Actually, Matt, my programmer, is in the background doing some tests to integrate our payment platform. We've turned this into something fantastic to give entrepreneurs the ability and give content providers the ability to put their information out in the world on our site, and when they sell their courses, they get paid instantly. They work in collaboration with other thought leaders, and really it's about helping entrepreneurs change the world. We're adding a nonprofit foundation to this to take the message around the planet. We're talking to some great collaborators on that, so it's really exciting for what we're doing. And as we grow that platform and open it up to the general public with a big launch in February, we created World Love Week to really pass on the message that business can really be about contribution, love, integrity, taking care of clients, customers, collaborators, employees, outsourced people, and really we can all work together from that spirit of helping each other, working together, not trying to bury the competition. Big difference. And what's fascinating for me is I sat at a meeting last night with some entrepreneurs that are part of this location independent entrepreneurial group that I'm a member of. And we talked about this very briefly, and the conversation quickly went to, isn't it interesting how coming from a position of love in business and coming from a position of helping each other and being nice to each other, businesses expand and thrive dramatically. Now, I've been teaching this for decades. What I would tell people in my courses for the past nearly 30 years was that my secret of success was 2 words. In fact, you want to write these down. The secret of success for me is 2 words. 2 words were be nice. Be nice. That was my consciousness of love in business. Be nice. By following the golden rule and being nice to other people, results would magically happen for me. People would like to be around me and would do things to help me. And that was magnetic. It saved my butt in many cases, because as I was able to build what Stephen Covey calls the emotional bank account, where people would enjoy my company and would love to work with me if and when I would make a mistake, screw up, do something stupid, do something embarrassing, any of those things that comes from humanity. There was enough of a emotional positive balance in that bank account where people liked me enough that they would give me a break. They would allow me to, they give me a hall pass for that day of, to get past that moment of stupidness. We do that with people. It's called forgiveness, right? But there's a point when it gets overdone. So the key is to build that balance as high as you can, build that relationship as solid as you can, so that when you mess up, like Apple, for example, great emotional bank account. So when they messed up with Apple Maps and so on, they ultimately got forgiven. They stayed in business. Coca-Cola, they did great with the new Coke when that was a debacle for them. I still think that was a marketing deal. So bottom line is, creating World Love Week really defines what we're standing for business. And you're seeing the mock-up of our World Love Week t-shirt, one of the World Love Week t-shirts. And by the way, as we start promoting it, I'll be inviting you all, each one of you, to do a short video for us where you simply say to the camera, I stand for love. Do you? We have a bunch of them already done. We're going to make something viral out of that, and we'll do a compilation video of everyone doing this. We're looking to make this something really giant. So get ready to be doing that for yourselves. So that's what it's all about. My question for you today, though, is, does your life feel like this? That you're trying so hard, you've been working super hard, you've bought every training known to man or woman, you've had many false starts, you have fallen short. Somewhere along the line, maybe you've hit the bullseye to some degree, or rather the actual dartboard, or whatever that's called back there, but you're not landing in the center at all. You're lucky even to hit it. The target, that's what it's called. It's called the target, of course. If that's what your life feels like, you're in the right place today, because the objective today is to get you from there to here. And I call that the Italian bullseye method. Those of you that have heard my friend Gina Gaudio Graves in some of our master classes know that she calls it the vortex. It's the vortex model of doing business. Now, why do I call this the Italian bullseye method? Well, it's this. It comes down to this. In my view, first of all, we want to hit the bullseye in our business. We want to hit the bullseye in our lives, and we're going to talk about what that means right now. My sense of things is this. In order for us to achieve the results that we want to achieve in our business, and really to supercharge and get your results to 10x your current results, it's super easy when you're focused on one target and one target alone. You've got to understand your big why. Write that one down too. Understand your big why. Because if you don't know what's behind it all, and I mean really know what's behind it all, you're going to be running around in circles. You're going to look at every next bright, shiny object, buy every new course known to man, and end up with the same results you've got now, or worse. And the worse is you've spent more money, got no results, and feel worse because you haven't achieved what you want to, so your whole self-esteem has gone down the tanker. Trust me, I know this one to my core. I can also tell you that, having been a member of Tony Robbins' Platinum Partnership a number of years back, the fascinating thing that I found out was this. Now, that was a $65,000 a year program. Okay, 65 grand just to say hello. A chunk of it went to his foundation, which is wonderful. And then there was the travel that we did. We traveled all over the world with Tony. And that was probably another 40 grand. So about a $100,000 a year program. That's what it was. Okay. The beauty was I was doing so well at that point that was no problem. I just, we just put it on the credit card, get the frequent flyer miles for it. Fantastic. But what was interesting was that the people that were in that program, by the time the year was over, they were broke. They lost focus of their business. They were looking at everything else but what was most important to them right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later, because it's one of the biggest myths that are out there, one of the biggest avoidance techniques, and one of the biggest mistakes that we make as we move forward. So we've got to determine the big why. In my sense of things, and why do I call it the Italian bullseye method, is because for you, all roads need to lead to Rome. Rome being the center of that bullseye. Bottom line, you need to determine for yourself what your big why is. What's your why? Okay. Is it something about you that you need, that you want to work on yourself? Is your why having something to do with your family? Is it about your business? Is it about your message or contribution to the world? What's motivating you? What drives you? And by the way, there'll be different drives in each of those areas. Now, we're not going to get super deep into this right now, although it's so fundamental. We just when we talk about this whole vortex concept, we'll spend an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I can tell you that over the years, it's literally taken me years to evolve and design my life based on that model. This is a process. This is like going to the gym. If you want to build muscles, you don't just build muscles by buying the latest muscle building book. Where I'm thinking about like an issue of men's health or women's health. All right, it doesn't happen because you bought it. It happens because you did it, and it's just like anything else. Showering once does not keep you clean for the rest of your life. It's got to be something that's consistent over and over again. And the fact is, your body changes, your mind changes, everything changes. Now, your basic essence of who you are probably doesn't. Your core values rarely change. It's who you are. Where you are right now in your life is where you and who you are in your life is pretty consistent, I think. However, the habits that we have, the beliefs that we have can all be changed. That said, there's hope. If you're not thrilled with where you are, there's hope. But some of these things we need to change big time, like our beliefs, because our beliefs can absolutely get in the massive way of where we are. And it means that we have to be consistent about that as well. It's like going to the gym. It's like setting up a whole new muscle. Because quite frankly, you've heard, I'm sure, thoughts are things, and all this and what you think about comes about. It is true. And we are wired at a cellular level that if we keep going the same way that we're going, we are going to keep getting the same crap we're getting, but worse. Because you add to that the level of dissatisfaction that comes from lack of progress. Because all of us by our nature want to move forward. All of us by nature want to move forward. So we got to know the why. What is guiding us? As an example, for me, my big why is that I want to make a big difference in the world. I want to help people create happiness. Years ago, I was sitting in I think I was in Palm Springs taking Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny program. And it's a fabulous program. It's multiple days, and it's long, early mornings, late nights, on and on and on and on. And they asked us the question, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Why are you here? What is your purpose? And that was hard for me. It was hard for a lot of us, but it was super hard for me because I thought it had to be something super magnificent and earth-shattering, and that there were going to be violins coming down from the ceiling, and when I achieved it. And the bottom line for me is this: my purpose to be here on the planet is for me to learn to be happy for myself and help other people do the same thing. Period. My purpose is to help you become happy. Period. How do I do that? How do I get you happy? Well, that's what I'm creating now. I'm creating our programs. I'm creating all of the training and education to help you get to the point where you achieve your results quicker, more easily, more effectively, so you can have that happiness and that lifestyle that you want. That fulfills me. That's where I get my joy. Giving you that. That's my big why. Now, how do I accomplish that? How do I achieve that? And in my business, what am I looking for to support my business? That's the next part of that bullseye. That's what we talk about in terms of that vortex. What is the big, long-term, high-value product or service that you're going to offer in your business that's going to propel you economically, propel you and supercharge your emotions so that you wake up in the morning thrilled and happy to do what you're doing. And so that you now say, rather than saying, I have to do this, you can say to yourself, I get to do this. Guys, listen, I had about 2 hours sleep last night, less than 2 hours sleep last night, to get ready for us today in dealing with World Love Week and all the other things I'm doing, about 2 hours of sleep. I am supercharged right now. I could not be more excited. I'm not whining that I got 2 hours sleep. I'd love to have more, and I will get a nap later today. But I'm willing to do this. I love doing this because it gives me you. It gives me the ability to serve you. You've got to be in that same place, because when you are, the results happen. The results happen. We'll talk a little bit about oh gosh, I'm forgetting the word now. Net performer. We'll get to it in a minute. I'll tell you what it is. It's all about making your customers happy, but you got to start with being clear about what you're going to do. So for us, I'll be clear, here at the Institute, we have, and I want you to think about this as you design your own bullseye, okay? Around your bullseye are going to be some some core elements that support it. So, for example, the center of my bullseye is a combination of our Excalibur Society, which is going to be launching this coming year. Excalibur is very similar to what I did with Tony Robbins. You'll be traveling the world with us, and that's with our group. We'll meet about 4 times a year in places like Iceland, the Great Wall of China. We have a trip coming up in September to Nepal, which I did last year with my mom, age 79. Not me; she was age 79 at that point, and it was amazing. And so you'll get to do that. You'll get to ride the elephants with us. You'll get to hunt the rhinos with us. Not hunt them, but look for them. You don't hunt when hunting anything, and have an absolute blast as we learn and grow and take our lives to the next level and experience what it means to have that. Okay, that's the big thing for me. I look at everybody that comes into our universe from a customer standpoint, from a collaborator standpoint, and I ask myself, do I want them on that trip? Do I see them as being that kind of a player? That's who I'm looking for. I now, since that's the higher program, I have one other level that I look at, and it's kind of a combination of our Results Club, which you'll be hearing about today. It's brand new. We have some members with us already here today, which is fabulous, and our Alchemist Alliance, which is the graduation of our Trailblazer program. And I look at these programs, and this is our back end, if you will. This is where our real revenue comes from, not from a $7 ebook and not from a $400 masterclass or whatever. It comes from the center core, that bullseye. We've got to be fundamental about that. We've got to be fundamental about that, because once we define that, everything we do revolves around that decision. Because if you aren't clear about this, listen to me very carefully. If we're not clear about this, then how else do you know what you're doing? Then you start adding products and services and things that are unrelated, and you go out into different areas that don't serve you in the basic why that you have. So we got to be super, super, super clear. Now, I can hear the little inner voice in your head going, but Ken, I'm not sure, or what if my thing changes? So it changes. You're human. Everything changes. But you got to start someplace. I can tell you that the center of my bullseye changed dramatically over the past year. Dramatically. Because I changed. Because I got clearer about what I wanted. I evolved. And now, boy, oh boy, the power with which I'm moving forward, the speed with which I'm moving forward, and the energy with which I'm moving forward is off the charts, because I finally got it. Now, I'm one of those slow learner types. It's like, why just stop hitting your head against the wall? Because it feels good to stop. Okay. We should all put up a sign that says, I've outgrown the need for pain, right? Or for suffering. Net performance score. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Next, net performance index. Anyway, we'll talk about that. The key here is this. Get clear. Now, to support the center of your bullseye, the center of your vortex, there are going to be 3 to 7 elements. Those elements, you can call them pillars, support that. What would support that in your business? What is relevant to that? So in my case, for us, we call them the 5 essential elements, because again, I want to brand everything with my branding, right? So the 5 essential elements are this. The first one is helping people create their own intellectual property, creating something that they can sell of value that is digital. Digital, very important, because that way, if you're in a business that is physical, I can help you become independent, location independent, so you can travel with me around the world while your business still makes money, because we'll get to the third element, which will help you with that process. So it's creating digital content. Secondly, is turning that content into cash, promotion, monetization, and leverage. Because it's one thing to have a great course, for example, and we're focused really on developing courses that can be sold on the course platform. But if you don't sell the course, it's worthless. I mean, it's nice. But what good is your book if no one's read it? What good is your song unless someone's heard it? So the key is to getting it out there. Monetization, leverage, promotion. Next is operations, processes, and systems. That's getting your business to run smoothly so you can travel around the world with us and have fun. That's dealing with your taxes and dealing with your legal stuff and setting up your outsourcing and your staff and your employees and all the operational processes, so that when someone comes in with an order, how does that order get processed so that people get fulfilled and you don't have to worry about it. So it's really dealing with all those things, and that's not always an easy thing to do. People forget that all the time, and then they're living, putting out fires. Putting out fires is not what your business is about. Your business is really about enjoying the ride. but so many people don't do that, and they are unfulfilled, and they're struggling, and that's when they get their heart attacks. Okay, and I'm not saying that in a generic fashion. It was finally determined that my heart attack was stress related. It took 4 years to figure that one out, but it was stress related. And what I was warned about, by the way, is that it could happen to any of us within like 10 minutes. Within like 10 minutes when we make it that crazy for ourselves. So the words chill out are words you're going to be hearing a lot of from talking to me over the next lifetime, because chilling out and relaxing are super important. I'll show you a quote in a little bit that really drives the message home. Fourth is the essential element is really what I call personal mastery, winning the inner game. If you don't take charge of you, if you don't start to love yourself and take care of yourself and forgive yourself, then you may not give yourself the permission to succeed. You'll find every way you can to subvert your success. There are people that are listening to me right now, and you know who you are, that you'll achieve a goal, you'll feel really great for a minute, and then unconsciously you'll be going, oh my God, I'm not worthy of that. That just doesn't feel right. And your internal clock, internal thermometer, if you will screw it up in such a way that you go back to the level that you were before. And you'll whine that you've never made any success, but the fact is you're that little voice in your head is like really happy that you've gotten back to that comfort zone of where you were. Nuh-uh. We got to change that. So that's personal mastery. Super important. Really, the first thing we need to do is deal with that. And we'll be dealing with a little bit of that today. Last but certainly not least is the lifestyle of awesome. And that's your vibrant health, your travel and adventure, dealing with friends, relationships, contribution back to society. It's really everything that makes you feel good. And that's unique to you, of course. Okay, but the idea is that you should be getting up every morning going, awesome. Right? Now, trust me, of course, there'll be days when you're like, it would be awesome if I could just sleep the rest of the day. And that's cool too. Have days of sleep, have days of rest. So that's super important. Those are our pillars, okay? Those are our essential elements. Yours will be different. They relate to your business. And what you'll do as you build your business is start driving people to come into your business, driving traffic and having supporting trainings, courses, products, and services that fit all of those elements. And then they come into the center. So you have the ability really to diversify, yet everything comes in to that one center of the bullseye. That's what keeps things simple. That's what keeps things easy. That's your system, your operations. Everything revolves in that one area. So at the end of the day, you have one big message, okay? Any questions on that? That's fundamental. That's super important. That's your bottom line. It's getting super clear as to why you're doing it, what's your purpose. And by the way, if it doesn't fit your purpose, no matter how great the deal is, what do you say to that opportunity? What do you say? Put it in the chat. What do you say if it doesn't fit on that bullseye? I want to see it in the chat, you guys. I got to make sure you have this. Someone gives you an opportunity that does not fit the direction you're going in. What do you say? Dan's got it in bold caps, as a matter of fact. Just one of you? Here we go. Nick says, bye-bye. Mark says, no thanks. Debbie says, hell no. Exactly. I get presented with opportunities all the time. All the time. They sound great. You know, I'll tell you what, not my Kuliana. That's great. Thanks anyway, Deborah says. For sure. You've got to have that discipline. And sometimes it hurts to say that. Sometimes it's like, I know this could make me $1 million. They're opening up Isagenix, the nutrition company here in Thailand. Now, I could come in on the ground floor of Isagenix in Thailand. Oh boy, not in a million years. And the person that was bringing me in is my good friend Scott Smith, and I would love to work with Scott. Scott's wonderful, brilliant marketing guy, super nice guy, love his wife. But there's no way in heck I'm going to do that because it's a complete distraction from World Love Week and TP courses. And the fact of the matter is that aside from the fact that it doesn't serve me, it certainly doesn't serve my clients and my customers. And I would do them a disservice by taking my eyes off the ball. So you got to keep in mind why we're doing what we're doing. So it's super important. I'm spending time on this because the bottom line, guys, it's about your vision. And we've got to be super clear and guard that vision like a hawk. This is your Fort Knox. This is your gold. If you want to create massive results, you got to be super clear. It's really that simple. Now, there's more to it than just being visionary and being clear. There's more to it, certainly. But the bottom line is, unless you have that vision, unless you have that clarity, and don't worry, we'll help you develop that clarity for sure. It is a process. I promise you, it is a process. until you have that clarity, you're not going to achieve the results that you deserve. You'll get some results, no question, but you're not going to get the results faster, easier, and you won't be able to inspire other people to help you. And that's the key to leverage, is getting people to help you. You can't do this all on your own. You just can't. I mean, you'll hear all sorts of stories, but if you want to have the quality of life that goes along with it, and not have the heart attack or the stroke and all the sickness and illness, and if you want to have the happy relationships and a family life that's tremendous, then you got to be true to your vision, plain and simple. A lot of you, and I'm talking to one person right now who is changing his life, changing his entire business, the foundation of his business, to go from physical to virtual, so he can stay home with his wife, and so he can have his family be the most important thing to him. And that's a transformation that we're going to help him do. And it's going to be fun to do. He'll make more money. He'll work fewer hours. He'll have more satisfaction. And he can hang out at home where he wants to be. Cool? Would you like to have that in your life? You can pop in the chat. Give me a hell yes. I'm seeing a bunch of hell yeses. Awesome. Okay. So about your vision, I want you to experience your outcome in advance. Experience your outcome in advance. So what I want you to think about is achieving it now, visioning it, seeing it. And I know that may sound a little bit airy-fairy. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is that when you are actually seeing it and experiencing it, you'll make it happen. If you're not seeing it, and I mean and seeing it, hearing it, tasting it, touching it, feeling it, if you don't have a vision board, for example, you're missing a great opportunity. Because it's not real unless you're in that place. You need to create reality. Okay, you need to create reality. Super important. So I want you to write this down right now. This is the audience participation. Okay, these are the top 3 things I want to achieve in my life or business over the next 12 months. These are the top 3 things I want to achieve in my life or business over the next 12 months. What do you want? What are the 3 top things that are most important to you that you accomplish? Is it to turn your income from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month? No problem. 10x. Easy once you learn the right hacks to do it. Starts with that focus, by the way. Starts with focus. My God, that's easy. 10x, no problem. 10x from $500,000 to $5 million, maybe not as easy. But if we're starting, in that lower level, getting you multiplied is going to be much, 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 much easier. It's kind of hard for Apple to 10x their income today, but they 10x their income when they first began, right? So we're still, for a lot of you, we're at the beginning of not just our relationship, but your relationship with money, the big money that you deserve, right? So what are the top 3 things you want to achieve over the next 12 months? Is it quitting your job and having the income that makes you financially independent? Is it earning enough income right now so that your business does give you that freedom that you want? What is it that's most important to you? Is it moving into the dream home that you wanted, getting a new car? And we'll talk about, not necessarily today, but the myth of a new car and how that will hurt you, not help you. Okay? But those 3 things are going to drive you. And by the way, those 3 things may change next month. And I suspect they probably will when you take a look and think, maybe that's not what I really wanted. It sounded good. It sounded like what my vision of myself wants. But maybe that new Lexus isn't really what I want. Maybe what I really want is a week in the south of France laying on a beach, or a week on safari, or 2 weeks on safari in South Africa or Kenya, which I can tell you is something that can completely change your life. Completely change your life. So I'll suggest that to you. Okay, some of those oh my God experiences can completely change the way you look at things and allow you a new way of looking at things completely. Okay, so I want you to get the top 3 things that you want written down. Okay, does anybody want to share some of those? Just pop in the chat if anybody wants to share some of what your top 3 focus points are for this next year. I've stalled a little bit to give you time, so you can just pop some of them in if you like and share them. And I won't necessarily share your name if you don't want me to. Meanwhile, I'm going to go on to the second key. Second key is focus. Once you have identified what it is you want, and this is not rocket science, okay? I'm going to acknowledge it. It's not rocket science. But the fact is that most people don't do it. You know what needs to be done. You just don't do it. It's like, I know I need to go to the gym, but do I? Well, I've got excuses for that, right? Now, there's ways to make that inevitable, and we're going to talk about how you create the inevitability in your life, okay? So someone says, earn $100,000 to renovate my house, work less hours, and spend more time with family. Yeah. Some people are like, more time with family? Oh no, I want to be away from my family. I want the freedom to move out of my house and get out of my family. That's great too. All of it works. Okay. Build lifetime wealth. Absolutely. That's the purpose of this. And I told you in the email I sent out that I'm going to share with you the book I think that will help change it all for you, truly change it all for you. And by the way, when I invite you into Results Club or invite you to apply to come in Results Club later, I will tell you that book is going to become one of our Bibles. We will be going through that book for the rest of the year, not the rest of this year, but on to next year as well. Because the bottom line is that what's in that book, which is rapidly becoming my Bible, is super important. I got the digital version of it. The physical version arrived at my mom's house in Florida. Now I'm in Thailand, so I don't need a physical book. And so she said, well, it's on the chair for you when you come back in January. And I said, Mom, the book's for you to read. You need the book. Mom's 80 years old. Mom, you need to read the book. All of you need to read this book. I'll tell you what it is a little bit later. Josie says $5,000 a month, a home in Colorado. Cool. And free of physical pain. Awesome. Awesome. You know what's interesting? I'm not a pain guy, meaning that I don't have the magic wand to eliminate pain. But I dare say that eliminating pain becomes easier when we're more at peace and more centered with what we want, where we are, and removing a lot of stress. Just saying, because a lot of what comes out for us physically comes from where we are mentally. And I can tell you that from my own personal experience. So getting back to this, the second key is focus. Focus, being super clear. Okay, I want you to ask yourself what I'm calling the daily power question. Write this one down. What's important now? What's important right now? I got to tell you, it's fascinating the things that we do that are not critical, the things that we do that are optional instead of the critical things, the things that are nuisance things that we do that are not the things that will make you money today, that are not the things that will get you propelled towards the center of that vortex, the center of that bullseye. What's important right now? What's most important right now? Do that first. And complete that, by the way. Because if you do all these things and don't complete all these things, then what you've got is multiple incompletions and no income. If you complete one thing and do one thing at a time in a linear fashion, then guess what happens? You at least have one thing that can earn you income while you complete others. And by the way, having an element of completion then provides momentum to do more and more and more. And that's how results happen. So what's the most important thing you can do right now? What's important right now? I was on a chat last night with one of my collaborators, and we put up a website for this person, and the website had a typo and there's some dates wrong that were in it. And no, I'm sorry, that's not that was already, I was taken care of. He wanted some changes. He wanted some he wanted to look more like our World Love Week site, because we're doing a site that we're collaborating on. And could we change that tomorrow? And I'm like, dude, your promotion doesn't go out for 3 weeks. Trust me, this ain't happening tomorrow. You know, we've got a lot of things that are on deadline for this week that are far more important than making cosmetic changes to a website that no one's seeing for 3 weeks. That's a nuisance. Now, I'm not saying that this particular person was a nuisance, but that issue is not at all important in the reality of today. The reality of today is, what do you need to do right now that will propel you faster and better right now? Now, in 3 weeks, if those changes are not made, that'll be an issue, right? It becomes more important further down the line. If there's time today and there's nothing else that's priority, no problem. But we must do what's most important right now. And you and I both know that there are many times that we do things that are completely unrelated that get in the way of that. That's where we lose our momentum. That's where we lose our focus. And if you think about time as actually being dollar value, and I think you should, because at the end of the day, all we have is time. And we're selling our time. Whether we're an employee, we're selling our time to our bosses. If we are consultants, we're selling our time to our clients. And if we are in business for ourselves, we are selling our time to that business. We're renting ourselves to that business. Even if you own the business, you're still selling your time to that business. How do you maximize that? What's most important right now? Really important. Ask that question. Here's my power quote, by the way. Now, by the way, the first thing you saw a minute ago, that question was an action question, wasn't it? What's important now? What do I have to do right now? Well, here's my power quote. For fast-acting relief, try slowing down. Anybody know who said that before I tell you? Anybody who said that? For fast-acting relief, try slowing down. I may surprise you who said that. Let's see. Anybody? Tell me quick. I'll give you 3. 1. Any guesses? Ah, man, you guys are totally, I thought somebody would be the wind beneath my wings on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Wind Beneath Her Wings herself, Bette Midler. That's been posted on my wall for years. Now, me as Mr. Type A, that's hard for me to slow down. But the thing that's going to drive you into some great success is not just slowing down, okay, because there's sprints, you'll still be doing sprints, obviously, and when you run to deadlines, but slowing down to the point of doing meditation. Write that one down. Meditate daily. Meditate daily. And it doesn't mean 30 minutes with your legs crossed, your fingers put together and chanting. Meditation could be something as simple as 10 minutes listening to a meditative tape that or MP3 that asks you questions to reflect upon. It's about stilling your mind. Meditation could be doing something like journaling. Meditation could be swimming. Meditation could be doing yoga. Meditation could be running. The key idea is to turn your mind off of all the chatter and just let creativity happen. Guys, I got to tell you, some of my most productive ideas and some of my $1 million ideas have come when I've been swimming or in yoga class, because my mind isn't focused on, oh my gosh, what do I got to do next? It's not focused on that question I asked, what's most important now? Most important now is being in yoga. Most important now is listening to that meditation tape. What's important now is swimming, doing what I can do to quiet my mind. For some people, it's playing the guitar or cooking. All forms of meditation for you. It allows you to separate yourself from the madness that you're in day to day and come up with creative ideas. It's your creative ideas that can make you millions upon millions of dollars. Vishen Lakhiani, who is the person that inspired me to create World Love Week, is the founder of Mindvalley, based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Vishen began like in a storefront teaching meditation, I think, and some kind of spirituality in New York years ago, struggling like most of us when we begin. His business now, he says, is worth over $60 million. I think when I last heard it was like they did $2 million a month in revenue. Is where they are right now. And Vishen's got it all hooked up and set up where he's having the time of his life. He's got like the coolest office ever. I've been to it. It's amazing. They've got like a tree house in the office. Has people that are so happy with what they do. They travel from all over the world to come work for him. He's built something tremendous. And what he says is this: I do not start my day without meditating. It is the most important thing I can do. Period. Period. So when I talk about having you create fast results, and we'll talk about Results Club in a few minutes. The bottom line, you guys, is it's going to be something as wild and crazy as, oh my God, shut up and sit in the corner. Years ago, shut up and sit in the corner was when you were bad. Now, shut up and sit in the corner is a good thing. I was at a dinner last night, as I mentioned earlier, with a group of people that are location-independent entrepreneurs. And there was about 8 of us at the table. We get together once a month. And 2 of the guys at the table were both, one of them is in the meditation business, selling meditation programs, and the other one meditates daily as well. And I don't remember what his business was, but it related to that as well. I got to tell you that the consciousness of the world is changing now to be much more open to that. And I can tell you from my own experience that when you slow yourself down to listen to your inner voice, and to let all the BS stop, which is not always easy, gigantic things show up for you. World Love Week came from theoretically nowhere. Vishen inspired me last year. I took the domain down a year ago, and then it was like it suddenly popped into my head again. Most of my great solutions come to me either from someone else sharing the idea with me, who I like to collaborate, or in those moments of stillness. Someone told me years ago that wisdom is the space between words. So if you are that type A person like me, and you and I resonate that way, understand that slowing down is going to help you a bunch. And that's part of the process. I call yoga mandatory for me now. I tell people I'm going to my mandatory yoga class, and one person said, "Well, wait a minute, you're supposed to like it." And I said, "I do like it, but it's mandatory. Period. It's like chocolate cake. It's mandatory. Chocolate cake is mandatory in my life. What would life be without chocolate cake? Seriously." So that's mandatory to my happiness and my health. So we got to take care of that. Next in your focus is going to be watching the numbers like a hawk. If you don't measure it, you don't know where you're going. So watch your numbers. This is me watching like almost hourly as my opt-ins and my visitors and my opt-in rates were rising and in some case and moving up and down a little bit as we were promoting one of our summits a while back. Okay, so as we watch our numbers, we can measure, we can see results, and we can move forward. If you don't measure, and if you don't have a plan that's a strategic business plan to start off with, we got a problem. So we're going to make sure that we have some clear benchmarks of what you want to accomplish. Again, getting a clearer definition of what you wrote down earlier, and then we'll manage it. And if the numbers don't work, then we readjust. And by the way, watching the real numbers is important. When you create a plan up front, very often, I can tell you from experience, you'll write the plan up and you'll be living in the world of fantasy. You'll be living in the world of wishful thinking. Watching the numbers will help you become more honest. And it's not that you're trying to deceive yourself intentionally, but we live in that wishful thinking, positive-oriented, well, we'll close at 10%, but what if you don't? What if you close at 5? If the numbers work at 5%, I promise you they'll work at 10 on the profit side, right? If you're budgeting your expenses at 5 and they come to be 10, then we want to budget expenses high. Budget your revenue low, your expenses high, and the time double it. Then you can deal with success. Then you can, if you're doing an event like I'm doing, for example, with World Love Week, it's great to be doing an event where the possibilities are that if for some reason you need to delay it for any reason, you can. World Love Week, brilliantly, cannot be delayed. I can't move Valentine's Day, right? So I've set myself up that we're creating our success to be inevitable, and we're gonna explain inevitability in a couple seconds in more clarity. Okay, so watch your numbers. Your third key is action. Talk is cheap. Action is what all the results are. Action is the bottom line. Okay, bottom line is just this. Just do it, damn it. Nike had it right. Just do it, and add whatever other taglines you want. But all of the great things, all the attitudes and all the visions and all that are wonderful. But unless you actually get out of bed, put one foot in front of the other, brush your teeth, put on some clothes, and go do something, and you don't have to put on clothes to do something, but the idea, get started now, immediately now. Talking about it is going to get you nowhere. Okay? So let's create inevitability. Fundamentally important. My friend Evan Pagan mentioned this to me a number of years back, and it has really guided me ever since. If you want to get in shape, now we're talking about this right now. We're just before Christmas. You want to get in shape for springtime. Okay, probably now is a decent time to start doing that, and you're going to start seeing the health clubs get incredibly busy come January. How do you create the inevitability of your actually being in better physical shape? I'm asking you this right now. Put in the chat, how would you create inevitability of actually getting yourself in great physical shape? Either that you have the six-pack, men or women, or sexy enough to be in a bikini again, or have a better resting heart rate. What do you got to do? What can you do to create inevitability that no matter what happens, you're going to be in damn good shape by X time? Pop in the chat. What are your thoughts? What would create that inevitability for you? That no matter what happened, you made sure that happened. Anybody have ideas? Don't be shy now. Josie says act on it. That's great. Act it. But how do you manage that acting? How do you create that acting that no matter what happens, you're going to do it? So acting on it is great. Sweat your ass off is one, but not necessarily get moving. Those aren't inevitability. Let me give you inevitability. Okay, this is a really important concept. So listen up. Take action with regular habits. Yes, but let's make sure those regular habits happen come hell or high water. So let's create inevitability. How about if we do this? How about if we challenge you when we say, look, what is the cause or group you hate most in the world? Okay, is it like ISIS? So let's say it's ISIS for a minute. All right. So how about this? If you don't shave 10 pounds off or shave 2 inches off or whatever measurable goal that you define by X date, you got to give $100 to ISIS. Oh, and by the way, you can't do it privately. You got to actually take out an ad that says, I, blah, blah, I'm donating $100 to ISIS because I love what they talk about, which, of course, if you're anybody on this call, if you do that, we're not right for each other, okay? You would do anything you could to not do that. Mark says get an accountability partner. That's one thing. Absolutely, get an accountability partner. There's another way of doing it. Okay, but one of the great ways, of course, is to set yourself up to donate to the thing you hate the most. So it would be like Barack Obama having to give money to John Boehner's reelection campaign. Stuff like that, right? Here's another one. How about if you went down to the gym? And yes, joining the gym is great, but better yet, how about if you went to the gym and actually hired yourself a personal trainer? That's what worked for me. Gym membership is BS. Everybody gets gym memberships, and how many go? They'll go for the first week, and then they stop. But if you have set up an appointment with your trainer and you're spending $40, $50, $100 an hour for your trainer, trust me, you're going. You're going. And that trainer, by the way, will push you further than you ever thought possible. I know that from experience. My physical life changed because I went ahead and I joined a gym and I got personal training from Tony, this guy bigger than me, who had me change my complete vision of myself as a man. Because I was the person they always chose last for sports. Always. It was like, oh, you get Ken. I hated it. And that's why I hate football, because, they never want to pick me for football, ever. And so I'm wired to absolutely be probably one of the only Americans that hates football. I think it's a plot against America that someone's going to invade us on Super Bowl Sunday because no one's paying attention. So what I did was I hired Tony, and within a short time frame, going to see Tony regularly, like 3 or 4 times a week, I found that I was actually pumping more weight than guys who were 3 times as big as me, and I always felt intimidated by bigger guys. Now I'm like, wimp. Because I can push more with my legs than some of these other people can even dream of. Set up yourself that no matter what you do, it's inevitable. World Love Week. World Love Week by itself is a concept. It's great. Wonderful idea. But I've gone out right now and I've told the world that we're creating World Love Week with multiple speakers, having it be an amazing opportunity. It's going to raise a bunch of money for charity. It's going to do a bunch. It's going to do a lot. And that's creating inevitability because, trust me, the pain of not achieving that is going to way outweigh any of the inconvenience of my being up extra hours at night to give up hours of sleep to achieve the goal I want to achieve. I'm creating inevitability. I've got people right now that have come to me and said, how can I help? Some of you are on this call right now, waiting for you to tell you what to do. Okay. So you create no escape hatch. Absolutely, Mark. Think back to the quote that you may have heard. And I forget the explorer who was quoted as saying this. Whether it's true or not, I do not know. I think maybe it's one of those urban myths. But when I want to say Pizarro, but I don't remember the person. They went in to invade. I believe it was Mexico, and when they got to the shores, he turned around and told his people, "Burn the ships. We're either winning or we're dead," and they won. Now, is that true? I don't know, but it's a great story. You create inevitability that the bottom line is you're committed, absolutely committed. That's what you got to do. So whatever you're doing, however you're going to press forward, think about what you can do that creates that total inevitability that you will achieve that result. Maybe it's that you throw away most of your clothes that fit you now, and that you're stuck in one pair of clothes for the next 3 months until you can go out and buy more. Create. And by the way, it's got to be some big, hairy, audacious goal, right? It's got to be something that really matters to you. Because if it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't fit the why to you, you're not going to do it. So it's really got to be something that's super duper important to you. Okay, fundamental. Okay. If you turn off the TV, that would create inevitability for some people. For some people, absolutely. The distractions that we have are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so create inevitability, super important. Accountability, my friends. Fundamental to your success is accountability. Now, I got to tell you, that's where things get a little bit dicey. And here comes the controversy. In the last email I sent out, I talked about controversy. Accountability is incredibly controversial because at the end of the day, You are responsible for your own results, period, nobody else. And yet, we operate as gigantic victims, okay? We live in the place of fault. It's everybody else's fault. And the worst part is that our governments, all of our governments, operate that way. God forbid we should say to the public, "Hey, dummy, it's your fault. You got to do something. Step up and actually work. Step up and actually produce. Step up and actually make a difference. Step up and actually be accountable and responsible for yourself." Oh, no, we don't do that. We don't reward that. We reward victimness. We do. We expect less from people. We reward that. We don't reward positive moving forward stuff. We just don't. There's no incentive that's been built in that way. And that's a giant problem. A giant problem. Okay. The controversy comes this way. I had somebody the other day, this is now, he sends in an email saying, "I want a refund for my faculty fee for becoming part of TP courses." He said, I haven't gotten you haven't done what you promised. And I'm thinking, really? So I went back and I looked at the history of this individual's behavior and performance with us. Now, mind you, we promised we would do faculty meetings. We've done multiple faculty meetings and trainings, and actually, I think that was an add-on as a bonus. We promised there would be angels to help him put his course up. Angels have written to him multiple times to get his course up. We promised we would have our course platform. We have our course platform. Is it ready on time? No, it's delayed. It's technology. It was delayed, but everyone's been kept informed about that. I went through the whole list of things that we've done and we've provided a lot. And then I looked and I said, "So where's your course?" This guy has not responded to a single email. He's not sent a course in. He's not communicated with our angels. He's not been to a faculty meeting. He's not responded to anything that we've given him over the past 4 months. And yet he says we haven't done our part and he wants his money back. And so I sent a response to him indicating that very stuff. I said, maybe if you actually did your part and sent us in your course, then we'd have a discussion. But until then, I fail to see what your issue is. And then he said that I only signed up to support the person that referred me. And this is an individual who called me or emailed me 3 different times to get clarity on what was in it for him. So I only did it for that other person. Can you see victim fault, victim blame, victim fault? And I called him on it. And I got a nasty email back saying that I was castigating and I'm a terrible person and, blah, blah, blah. That's the controversy, guys. The minute you call somebody on their bullshit, they either are going to react and step up or they're going to call you names and throw temper tantrums. But I got to tell you this. If that's who they are, get them out of your life. Bottom line, guys, if it's important to you, you will find a way to make it happen. If not, you'll find an excuse. And that's how your employees operate. That's how your collaborators operate. That's how your children operate. That's how the world operates. Okay, that's the bottom line. As a speaker, when I'm in front of a room speaking, and when I was working for many of these other training companies over the years, if I didn't sell, I didn't get paid. Right? And by the way, the company that spent thousands of dollars to fill rooms with TV commercials and so on were depending upon me to have that audience join what we were doing. And frequently we would have speakers saying, "Well, there's no money in the room." And then, of course, the guy who owned the company would get up and he'd talk to a room that was theoretically broke, and he'd bring in thousands upon thousands of dollars. All that is garbage. It's the lies we tell ourselves. No excuses, just results, plain and simple. Okay. Bottom line is you can have results or you can have excuses, but you can't have both of them. The challenge is that when we stand up and we call people on their bullshit, and I can't think of we could be nice about it and call it BS and all that and dance around it, but at the end of the day, it is bullshit. Okay. The bottom line is that we got to have some discipline here, and we got to be reality, and we've got to be adults. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Okay, so we've got to really create that inevitability, create that accountability. And you know what? If we screw up, acknowledge it. Super important, because then you create the space, you have integrity, and you can move forward, and people will help you move forward. Okay, let's get productive now. Accountability is super important. Focus, incredible. Inevitability, fantastic. Now we're moving. Now we've got some actions. We decided what we want to accomplish. We're going to do something, but how do we become more productive? Okay, we've got to build a team. We can't do it all of ourselves. We just can't. I mean, not if we want to monetize and grow more rapidly and become more effectively. So ways to build your team are to outsource, You can do it internally by bringing on employees and having an office, which I would prefer you not do because that's additional expense. But if you have offices, if you do have physical plants and physical businesses, then it's going to be a matter of building and developing that team to work with you, for you, more accountably for sure, right? More effectively, so that you can have that productivity and you can have that lifestyle that you want. A buddy of mine is a chiropractor in New York. He travels the world speaking. He's an incredible motivational speaker and a really, really super guy. And this chiropractic practice, he has 2 chiropractic practices. He spends about 2 hours a week on them. He has people that run the practices for him. He comes back every now and then and checks on it, but he doesn't see himself as a chiropractor anymore. He's a motivational speaker now, and he happens to have a chiropractic business with two locations. And they make a bunch of money, but he's created the ability to have his lifestyle because he's powered up his internal employees to run the business in his absence. And he lives his life on his terms wherever he happens to be in the world. That's what I want for you. So physical business or not, you can still create that lifestyle if you want. And last but not least, your collaborators and your partners. You want to leverage people to work with. Now, as I said, there's some of you here with me today that have said to me, Ken, I want to help you with World Love Week. Tell me what I got to do. And I'll help coordinate people and I'll do other things. Okay? That's wonderful. That's a way to leverage with collaborators and partners and people that will work with you. Now, by the way, some of them will be people that you pay. Some of them will be volunteers, perhaps, depending upon what kind of cause you're involved in. Okay? But again, I got to tell you that you're going to pay other people to do work, do tasks for you. Insourced, outsourced, doesn't matter, but it's going to involve those people because at the end of the day, as an example, if you're editing a video or if you're creating artwork, that's easily outsourced. Things like writing copy, not so much because it's your vision that you want to get out there. All right. But at the end of the day, most of what you do can be outsourced. The things that can't be outsourced are putting together your vision for your company, guiding your company, inspiring other people to do business with your company and to work with you in your company. Those things are the higher level, high dollar amount of revenue that are what you're for. If you have a digital business that provides coaching or other services of that nature, you're delivering that value may very well be your highest and best use. Although at the same time, you can bring other people on to deliver those services as well and save you for the higher level piece, which may be your $10,000 annual coaching program, for example. All of those things are designed as you build and define your team, your operations, your processes, your systems. Okay, you've got to have that to make it work smoothly. If you don't, once again, you're spinning your wheels and you're not going to hit that target. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your biggest enemy is resistance. Your biggest enemy is resistance. And I'm going to expose to you in just a couple seconds how virtually every single one of you is susceptible to that by telling yourself a big lie. Okay? What are some causes of resistance? Fear is one of them. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of embarrassment and humiliation. You name it, we got tons of those fears. And they stop us in our tracks left and right. Left and right. Tony Robbins talks about formerly the richest man in, I think it was Austria, if memory serves me, and one of the countries, may have been Germany. Anyway, richest guy earned billions upon billions of dollars, took a hit in the markets a few years back, and he suddenly became no more the richest man in that country, and he lost like $3 billion overnight. Okay, mind you, he had like 100 other $1 billion available to him. He wasn't broke, but he no longer had that status. He killed himself. He was so afraid of losing that status that he took his own life. Ridiculous. But people do that. The element of resistance will stop you in your tracks. Fear is one. Unworthiness is a giant one for so many of us. I'm not worthy to succeed. I haven't earned the right. I'm not worthy to be happy. The more lies that we tell ourselves, more BS that we tell ourselves. Bottom line, though, it's real. I know because I've lived there. I was unworthy to have money. I was unworthy to be successful because I blamed myself for the economic crisis, for my investors losing money. I lived in that blame for years, and that affected my health. It affected my lifestyle. It affected everything, and shortchanged the people that could have learned from me and could have grown with me over that time frame as well. And then we have the famous entrepreneur's imposter syndrome. I got to tell you that in listening to entrepreneurs constantly, they say something like this: I don't know enough to be able to teach that. I don't have enough experience to be able to do that. What do people want to listen to me for? I don't have enough to share to them. I don't know enough about this. That's all bullshit. I'm calling it as it is with all those words. It's complete BS. Here's the bottom line, you guys. You have tons and tons and tons of wisdom, each and every one of you. You individually, each one of you has tons of wisdom to share. Tons of it. And all you have to do is be one page ahead in the book of life for someone to follow along. I can tell you right now that if I want to learn to play tennis or improve my tennis for that matter, which could use a lot of improvement, I don't want to study with Billie Jean King. Okay, she's too good for me. I need the person that's like the next level up. I need like the next best tennis coach here in Thailand. I don't need to study with Andre Agassi. Okay, now I would love to be at that level, but that's stupid. So the point is that there's people that you can guide right now in your life that you know a little bit more than they do. And they will look up to you and they will see value with what you've got. And you can sell your services to them today. You do not need to learn a damn thing more. You know enough already. Let me repeat myself. You don't need to learn anything else. You know enough already. You can help other people today. There's no waiting for I must learn more at all. You know enough right now. Congratulations. Okay, congratulations. Okay, taxes and IRS, Tony. I'm not sure where that goes in terms of what your question is, but you're always going to deal with that. I mean, and the fact is, at the end of the day, my secret to success with everybody: be nice to them, show respect to them, don't give them an attitude that they hold all the cards. Once you understand how the game is played, you play it under those rules, and you can become successful. But here's what I call cloaked resistance. It's AKA the big lie. And that is the I need more training lie. I just told you, you know enough. You don't need any more training. And I can tell you that there's people on this call right now, and you know who you are, Ms. D, that have said to me, no, I can't go and build my course right now because I need to go and take another course this weekend to learn about my branding. That's the biggest chunk of BS I've heard in ages, because there's nothing to brand if you don't have a product to brand in the first place. We keep telling ourselves, I need to learn more. I got to know this. I got to know that. The fact of the matter is that, let me ask you this. Let me not even tell you. Let me ask you this. How many of you guys have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on training and education that could give you the answer, the magic answer to your business, and you haven't even opened it up yet? Just admit it to me. You know, how many of you done that? And I'm saying, yes, me. I'm seeing a lot of me's. Yes, I agree. Yes, yes. Unfortunately, yes. How did you know me? Yes, of course, all of us have. We're human. We buy on emotion. We justify with logic, and we still shrink wrap on all those courses that can make us millions of dollars. So what's the next one going to do for you? You know, I mean, buying it is not going to give you that information, but yet we do it all the time. Or we go through the trainings and we're so overwhelmed with all the stuff we've learned, we don't do it anyway. If you just simply went back to basics today and learned nothing else, you could be abundantly successful making millions of dollars. Okay? There's the answer. Yeah, Brian, right. There's the answer. The answer is you have it. Someone told me this years ago, and it took me a long time to really fathom. The fact is you have all the answers. What we're going to focus on when I talk with you about Results Club in a few minutes, what we're going to talk about is the fact that you have the answers. And we're going to use the answers to craft your future. And I want to have you actually promise to take no more trainings. Oh, yeah. I want to have you promise to take no more trainings unless they are specific to the tasks that you need to achieve to get on your path. So, for example, a number of you want to have your own web TV shows, and our focus is building our web TV network. That's a big focus for World Love Week and on to help us promote TP courses, because I see the future of video going off the charts. So we're doing a lot with that. So I've created a web TV masterclass, which we're doing in January, which you'll start hearing about in the next few weeks. That's strategic. That's going to give you the skill set to accomplish one specific goal towards the center of that bullseye. Okay, so the center of that target. That's strategic. And in my world, if you're in our results club, for example, we'll discuss, do you need to do that or not? If you do, you do it. If not, you don't spend the money and the time and the distraction. But I got to tell you, because you're like me, that it's easy to go, I must listen to this webinar. I must get this course. And I got to tell you that I have probably 6 months of video and audio easily. I mean, 24/7, 6 months worth of material on my hard drive and up in the cloud, because my hard drive is full of all that stuff that God knows if I will ever listen to. It's clutter. From a feng shui standpoint, it's bad news. It should all be deleted because you're never going to look at it anyway. When I moved to Thailand and when I had to close out my house because it was being foreclosed on, I had thousands upon thousands of books, and most of them got given away. And I had all this training material. Oh my God, I donated them because at the end of the day, the next copywriting course wasn't going to make me a penny. I was never going to go through it. Stuff I'd bought 10 years ago, even though it would be relevant today, was never going to go through it at all. Period. At all, ever. So yeah, I know Ryan says I totally relate. Yeah, of course. That's the biggest lie out there, I think. I need more training. Bullshit. Okay? The only thing standing between you and your goals is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself. You don't need more training. You just need to do something. And I want to invite you to the solution for that in just a couple of seconds. It's about just creating the results with what you got. And then what happens is you become incredibly proud. You create momentum. You get clarity. You fine-tune your mission because you'll realize that perhaps the road you were going down wasn't really as perfect as you thought. And then magic happens and you start making money and you start having fun again. And then you start feeling like, you're maybe 10 years younger than you are because you're just on that path. Josie's a perfect example of that. Josie is one of my favorite people in the world. She's 87 years old. She's a member of our Trailblazer program and now a member of Results Club. And Josie's like all about this giant mission. You talk to her and you can't help but be inspired. You just physically can't. I got on the phone with her and within seconds I was like, you're becoming a Trailblazer member. Like immediately, you have to be part of this program. You cannot not be part of my life. And that's the kind of inspiration that all of us want to have, right? So the way to overcome resistance is that for you to go buy this book. It is not my book. I don't get a commission on it, but I want you to buy the book, or if you can find it online, you can find it online. The War of Art. It's called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. This book will change your life. This book will expose to you all the many ways that you resist your future. Steven Pressfield wrote the book The Legend of Bagger Vance. Very successful gentleman, but it took him years and years to get there. He found all sorts of ways to stop his progress. Like, I got to clean the house. I got to get the tar tuned up. I got to go get my hair cut. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. We do that all the time. Cleaning my house was the best avoidance technique I had, aside from just taking other courses. Okay, read the War of Art. It's a fast read. It's an easy read. It's worth every penny of it. Brian says, love that book. Got to reread it again. Yeah, I would say it's another Bible you should reread. Absolutely. You guys, wisdom is everywhere. Share it. That book will, by the way, that book is my manifesto in so many ways. And so when people tell me, or give me the victim thing of I didn't get the email, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. It's like, well, time out for a second. Did you find out about it? You knew there was a date. You didn't get a reminder. Did you not put it on your calendar anyway? And if you didn't see something, then you went to get the link. You'd send something into support. Where is your accountability? I am really tired of working with people who are nothing but blame mongers, and have no sense of responsibility. Right? We have to maintain that. This book will help you. Okay. So what's the solution? How do we get to that point of having that clarity, of having that focus, of having that action based on your direction to get the results that you want? Because once you've got that, you're a laser machine. You get the results. It's clear. And then all the other fine tuning that we do of having copy be more effective, and of doing split testing, and of ensuring that we're optimizing our websites, and and on and on and on. All that is fine tuning. All that's really hacking things and making it better and faster and easier. That's easy. But if we don't have the fundamentals in place, all the rest of that's garbage, and we don't get there. So we've got to get someplace in direction. The solution came to me about a month ago. It's called Results Club. Results Club, helping you find your direction, your focus to get results. I'm calling it now direction, focus, action. when we talk today. Okay, because action brings you those results. Brian says, I recommend it to all my clients and friends. That's the book. Bust your ass and never give up. Yeah, but you know what? Even the terminology of bust your ass, you shouldn't have to bust your ass, Brian. Or Anthony. The bottom line is it should be easy and graceful and fun. Now you're going to bust your ass sometimes. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, when you're in synchronicity, when you're clear about what your outcome is and the why behind the outcome, magical stuff happens. And I can't tell you why. All I can tell you is magical stuff happens. Period. It just does. When we created Results Club, the concept behind it was this. It was all about, and forgive me for the way I'm going to say this, but this is how we really talk. It was about getting shit done. Period. It was about getting shit done. Now, for the general public, it's about getting stuff done. But the bottom line is, let's just get it done and get the results and move on and have fun. Because unless there's results, nothing else matters. Unless there's results, there's no food on your table. Unless there's results, there is not the element of pride and self-esteem that you really want to have in your life. Period. It's about those results. Unless you get your triglycerides down, you'll get a different result, which could be death. And that's all measurable, by the way, of course. So it's all about results. Let me tell you about Results Club and how you know if it's right for you. All right. Results Club is this. And by the way, it is also something that is in development, meaning that we're going to develop it based upon what your needs are. Here's the foundation of Results Club. We're going to be meeting, and we already are now. We're meeting every Tuesday at, what time do we meet? 8 p.m. Eastern time. America time. For those of you in Asia, that's Wednesday morning or Wednesday midday. If you're in Australia, we meet for 2 hours every week. During that time frame, we go through what your objectives are and were and will be. What we did this past week with my buddy Dan, and Dan, you're here. If you want to make any comments, I'll be happy to have you share what that experience was for you. But we do a compass session within that time frame. So we took Dan and we looked at what his objectives were, and he wanted us to go over his website to optimize it. So we optimized his website. And he said to me, "Are you recording this? Because I can't take notes fast enough." Of course, everything's recorded. So if you missed a session or we're optimizing you, don't worry about it. It's being taken care of. So, and we posted, of course, on our members area. So part of that session is really dedicated to one of our members so that that person can get some individual help, but also the rest of us can take a look and watch in that experience. Because I got to tell you, what I've discovered is that so often by listening to someone else and watching someone else's transformation, I find things that I didn't even think about asking myself. I didn't even know to ask, but someone else did. And like, wow, I needed to know that. That's important. So the power of group dynamics is super important. By the way, this is not a coaching program. Oh no, this is not a coaching program. This is not a training program. This is really a get stuff done program, period. We'll do whatever it takes. Now, will you be learned and will you be coached? Of course you will. But at the end of the day, I'm not promoting this or even describing it as a coaching program or a training program. It is an accountability, productivity, get stuff done program. If you want to get stuff done, you come to Results Club, period. Will you learn? You bet, because we talked about best ways to write copy. We talked about other optimization. We talked about laying out your website strategically and structurally. All those things were covered during just that one piece. And then we're going to go around the group. And by the way, we use open mics on these so that everyone gets to speak to each other. And we look at what'd you do this week? Where'd you want to go? What are your celebrations? What are your anticipations for next week? And we hold you accountable to that. And it doesn't mean we're going to beat you to a pulp for not achieving anything this week. I mean, if you were sick or you traveled or whatever, traveling is a great celebration. And if the fact is you decided to go to dinner in Hong Kong, on the waterfront, well, then that's a great celebration. And I'm okay if you didn't do something this week because you chose to do that instead. That's cool. If it's a habit, then I'll kick your ass. If it's a habit, we'll look, oh, we're avoiding again, aren't we? And if you continue to do that, we will have a private discussion, because this is about people achieving results, period. And if you're not achieving results, then you don't belong in Results Club, right? And so it's not for everybody. It's not for those that are great excuse givers. Now, mind you, if you're committed to getting past that, that's been your habit, and what you need is that little bit of a love kick, we'll do it. We'll help you. We'll help change that behavior to bring you more in accountability. Because at the end of the day, it's that behavioral change that's super important. So that's fundamentally what it's all about. Now, what other things happen with Results Club? We're developing some software that will allow you to manage your outcome list. I don't want to use the word to-do list, because to-do list seems like a giant obligation, and gee whiz, if it doesn't get crossed off, there's problems. I want to look at really an outcome situation and be real positive about how we describe what we get to do, what we choose to do, what we want to do, right? You're going to be interviewed on the Totalpreneur Show. Some of you, as our founding faculty, get interviewed already, but we're talking about a longer form interview, a longer interview where your audience will get to know you a lot better. On the web TV show, on the Totalpreneur Show, we have segments that are as little as 30 seconds and as long as 9 minutes. We're going to go with long form for you guys because I want you to have much better results. So you'll be on the show. Additionally, in addition to what you're currently on with your courses, you will have supreme accountability. Okay, you may be matched up with someone to have it as an accountability partner. Those options are certainly there for you if you want. Totalpreneur Magazine is there for you as well, and you will get 4 articles during the course of the year. We're charging people right now $200 a page to have their content put in the magazine. Okay, that's not advertising. That's just content pages. So that's like an $800 benefit for being a member of Results Club, so that you'll be able to promote anything that you want. And we want everything at this point to go through TP Courses. The purpose of the magazine is to drive traffic to our collaborative platform at TP Courses. By the way, I mentioned earlier briefly that we're setting up the Totalpreneur Network. It's a web TV network, and there are some gigantic plans for that are already in process, where I can't tell you much more than their gigantic plans, but let's just put it this way. Household word and being in people's homes physically is part of that conversation. So I'll leave it there. Bottom line is that when you are in Results Club, we're going to need show hosts, and we're going to need some of our various shows manned and fee-manned, by people, and not me. I can't do it all. And the key is collaboration. So you may have the opportunity, if you qualify, to be a co-host on one of the shows. And when you're a co-host on one of the shows, there's actually a revenue split. So there's another income process, not just earning income from the show and from sponsorships and from potential advertising, but also, of course, you're now being exposed regularly and exposed as an expert in your field. Listen, being a TV celebrity makes a big difference. And even though you're online, celebrities are still made, and you have yourself positioned. And of course, all the recordings of the shows are available to you for marketing. So huge benefit. Why do you think we're doing a web TV masterclass, you guys? It's to get everybody trained so that way they can move forward with us in that area. Okay. And there's our Google Plus community and a whole bunch of collaboration. But the bottom line, the key thing is helping you get your results, is defining what you want and getting them done. Because I want you to be able to take your tuition to Results Club, and your membership fee rather, and 10x it. And I think that'll be pretty easy when you actually do the work, and it's your work. So here's what it'll do for you. It will be your achievement gym. Think about this. If we're going to build muscle, we got to go to the gym, and you don't go to the gym just once. You don't get the results and get that six pack and get that gorgeous healthy body because you signed the gym membership. You go and you achieve it because you do it. So this will be like your achievement gym, because each week we're going to focus on building the strength of your business, and that's your profitability to get you closer to the long-term results that you want. And by the way, we'll focus on different things each week. Whoever needs something, we'll focus on that a little bit. So we may even do a monthly focus. We're in developing things for you. I want to make sure that we don't spend all sorts of time training. We want to spend time on doing and getting stuff achieved. Focused doing, not just doing for the sake of doing, but focused achievement. That's the biggest thing that's most important to me for you. We're going to get to leverage your experience so that you can shave months, if not years, off your learning and profit curve as you share with others to get solutions to your problems in advance. Solutions to problems in advance. What the heck is that? That means understanding where the risks in your business are so that you can solve them by building a solid business today, knowing that you're avoiding potential catastrophe because you plug the holes and you build strategy in that gets you past some of those learning curves. That's called working with other people that have been down that road before. That's why working in a collaborative arena with other people are benefiting you. Brian says, very cool. Yeah, that's the important thing about this. What will it do for you? It'll help you make money faster, for goodness sake, so you can actually earn a profit before you start some of your new ventures. Wait a minute, earn profit before I start something new? How the heck can I do that? Guys, I've been teaching this for a long time. It's simple. It's called plan it, sell it, then create it. And you'll see it in action. You'll see it in action. plan your next product, sell your next product, then build it. People do that all the time. Okay, and you'll do it with integrity, and that way you got something or not. We'll talk to you about how to make that money faster, because at the end of the day, money loves speed, period. Okay, well, here's what it'll do for you. You'll get to create the power and influence you need so you can attract higher level customers and clients, and more of them will come to you, and you'll get to multiply your profits. And by the way, when they come to you from your own devices, from your own methodology, from your own programming, from your own social media and so on, you don't have to split the profits with any affiliates. You don't have to give half of your income away. It's yours, which means that by simply doing things strategically, you double your income. Rather than having to deal with affiliates, by doing the right kind of promotion and leveraging yourself properly, you can double your income instantly by doing nothing different. Understand? Big, big difference. You get to multiply your effectiveness, so you don't have to work harder to generate the income you desire. It'll be easier. You'll get to work smarter. Again, results. And by the way, you'll get to make a bigger impact with your own web TV show, which will expose you to more people, get your message out, and make a much bigger difference. Now, your own web TV show is that you would be a collaborator on a web TV show. Okay, people that get their own web TV show come into our Alchemist Alliance program. That's another program that we have where it's a collaboration incubator accelerator program. So we can talk about that at a later point, but you'll be collaborating and getting started on a show where you co-host with somebody else, which, by the way, gives you a lot more freedom. Trust me. If you have someone that can co-host with, that means that you are not a slave to your show. It means that you actually can share in the responsibilities. And if you want to take a week off and go to Paris, you can, right? And not worry about producing a show. You'll also learn to stack the benefits so that you can completely leverage other people's influence and their lists so you can make money like crazy. And we do that a lot. World Love Week is just that very thing. We're stacking the benefits. Something else that's super important. I told you earlier I would give you the book, not give you the book, but tell you about the book that's going to become our Bible for the rest of the year and next year as well. If you have not bought Tony Robbins' new book, Master the Money Game, you must buy that book today. Amazon.com, somewhere else. Get that book. Download it or go, get it delivered to you. Start reading that book. We're going to be talking about that book religiously over the next year and probably and beyond. Because at the end of the day, when you start making money, it's going to have to go someplace. And I will be damned if I let you put your money in a place that's going to devalue it and take it away from your future. I will not allow that. Tony's a real deal. I mean, I know him. We travel the world together. Not like we're the best friends. I haven't talked to him in years, but as one of his platinum partners, I got to know him and his wife Sage, and they're great people. This book is a book I can't put down. My iPad and my iPhone, I sit and I eat dinner and I'm reading the book on my iPhone. I mean, it's that great. It's that compelling. And I could spend more time going through it with you now, but when you're in the Results Club, we will go through it together. We will craft our business plans, our investment plans. They will be individual for you. Tony may or may not have any economic interest in your results. I don't think he does, other than the fact that he wants to feed 50 million people or more. And actually, it's now I think at 100 million people, and he's done that. I mean, he's an amazing soul. So participating helps. That money gets donated to help feed people. But more than that, you're going to learn how to monetize and maximize your investments for the future. And yeah, Dominique says I got my copy already. So much information. Yeah, it's awesome, right? It's absolutely awesome. So get it, go through it. We will work through it together. And if that's all you use Results Club for was to stay accountable with this book, it'll be well worth it. I promise you that. But this book is become really illuminating for me. And I can tell you, if I knew what was in it, Sylvia says she bought it too. Yeah, absolutely. If I knew this information 5 years ago, I would have not been bankrupt. I would have not had the problems I had. We would have been a lot safer had I known what was in that book. Absolutely, positively. Absolutely. I still would have had a retirement plan. So instead of having lost all of it. So super important. You got to do that. This has specifically been designed for you because understand that I've been there. And remember, having coaching programs and having our faculty and talking to you guys, I know what you want. You've told me what you want. You've told me what your frustrations are. But here's the thing. This is not for everybody. You got to actually apply and be interviewed to be accepted. And this is not like a game. This is the real deal. Because at the end of the day, if I don't believe you're going to step up, if I don't believe that we're the right match, if I don't believe I can help you, and at the end of the day, if we're not going to have fun together, I don't want you in the program. And the rest of our people in the program won't want you either. We have some super cool people we haven't even really opened it up yet, frankly. We have people that joined because we've been on the phone and it was like, you need to come to Results Club. We're not ready yet. I'll make you a link. You can join now. And they joined. And, and they've already started coming to our formerly Pathfinder sessions, which are now becoming Results Club. So, and it's a completely different program. Even the Pathfinders have to be interviewed to get into the program. Josie said, just started reading the book. Yeah, perfect. So you've got to apply to be interviewed, which means, by the way, that guess what? No one's selling you anything today. You don't have any credit cards to bring out. Don't worry. It's all good. You don't have to race out and scream, "You're selling me something." No, I'm not. In fact, I'm actually anti-selling you because you got to be serious about this. This is, when people sell you these courses, they're like, oh, yes, you can buy the course and by tomorrow you'll have 14 million hits on your website and you will have $37,000 in your bank account within 6 days. I promise you. All you got to do is buy my course. Results Club is about creating results. It's about you being accountable, you being productive, you being clear, and working diligently to get it done. It's about staying focused and having the support to achieve that. It means being a grown-up is what it means. Oh my God, imagine a politician saying that. America, you got to be a grown-up. But we do. And no one's going to do it for us anymore, guys. It's got to be us. There's no one else that's going to do it for us. Plain and simple. When that airplane has that change of altitude or change of oxygen or whatever, and those oxygen masks come down, what do they tell you when you board that airplane? They said, put the oxygen mask on you first before you help anybody else. My friends, if you don't help you first, there will be no one else to help because you'll be dead, economically dead, all right, and unhappy and miserable. And we're not going to let that happen to you. So that's what Results Club's all about. All right, here's what's going on. There's 20 spots to Results Club at the moment that I'm going to do, and I'll do them under a plan that will freak you out in just a second. Okay, Results Club is going to be $2,500 a year. Not for you and not now, but it's going to be $2,500 a year. I will probably have that price kick in probably February, just after World Love Week is probably when it'll kick in. For now, it'll be charter membership, and it's going to be less. Okay, it's going to be $9.97 a year. Okay, that's like $2.72 a day, cheaper than Starbucks, and a much better return. Okay, so it'll be $9.97 a year. For those that have an issue paying with a one-time payment of $9.97, we'll do it at $97 a month. Okay, it'll be an annual fee, but paid monthly. We'll do the financing on it. That's what the program is going to be when and if you're accepted into the program. Okay, but for you guys now, until Christmas, get yourself interviewed with me. Get on my calendar. We'll meet. We'll talk about whether it's right for you, whether it's a good match. If I invite you in to the program, get set up by Christmas. $9.97 one time, forever. You're done. It's a lifetime thing. I want people on board now. I want this thing to begin just incredibly fast. So it is right now for you up until Christmas, a $9.97 one time lifetime program. Okay, you don't pay any more than that ever again for this program. Okay, so that's the opportunity for you. And by the way, I'm not giving you a link to buy anything. I'm going to give you a link to go apply and to get started. You go to totalpreneur.com/RCVIP, which stands for Results Club VIP. Okay, so go to totalpreneur.com/RCVIP. Let me put that in the chat for you. I got to do that as I speak, which is not always easy for me. So I'll do this real quick. RCVIP. Okay, go there now. Well, or as soon as I finish with this. But I would do it as quickly as possible because the sooner you set up sooner you fill out the form, the sooner we look at it and then set up an appointment with me. Okay, so get started now. What you'll do is you'll fill out the form, and it will, if I show you, it'll look. Whoops, that's not it. Let's go. Here we go. It'll look like this. Okay, 3-step process. Fill out the VIP membership application. Meet us for a private Compass session, and let's see here. I've got who is with me. Dan, are you able to unmute? Do you want to talk about your Compass session, or Deborah? Do you want to tell people what that experience was? You comfortable with doing that? If you are, just either put your hand up or just say something in the chat so people can understand what that's about. Dan says lazy. Okay, great. Let me unmute you. Okay. Hey, Deb, you're unmuted. So we had a strategy session. We had a compass session about a week or so ago, right? What was that experience like for you? Oh, you're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Ken, are you talking to me, Deb?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm right here. We had a compass session that was amazing to me. I have a private practice. I work one-to-one with children, and I am at a place in my profession right now where I'm seeking to transition from that, not because I don't like it, but because it's time for me to have a bigger vision for my life and to use what I have learned there to help more people, obviously by going online and creating courses and heaven knows what, books for children and parents. I have loads of stuff spinning around in my head, and talking with you began to give me hope that I can take it from spinning in my head to an actual viable business that will help other people as well as myself.
Awesome. And I'm thrilled to have you with us. This is going to be a great ride. So thanks for sharing that, Deb. And
Sure.
and Mr. Murray, Dan Murray is the coolest guy, and I'll tell you why I say that, because we finished our compass session together, and he'll tell you about that, and then his experience with us as we took apart his website the other day and put it back together again. But after we finished the session together, Dan, without even asking me, without my asking him, sent me an email with a video testimonial about how his experience was. So I want to first of all give you a shout out for that, but tell people what your experience was first of the actual compass session, and then what we did in your first your first results club.
Hi, can you hear me there, Ken?
You sound great.
Okay, great. I just found that our session together was, first of all, we just seemed to click, if you know what I mean. And the thing that I found was that you had the clarity to bring home some issues that I've been knowing I've had, but just needed to get them flushed out. And the big thing that I see is the accountability, and you also have the tools and resources to put things in digital format and with courses. I have the head knowledge. I've just been struggling with getting it into teachable format by digital. And I tell you, I've been so pumped since that call that I've hardly been able to get sleep. And I've been more creative this week than I have in years.
Wow, that's fabulous. That's great, Dan. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
That's super. So tell everybody about your experience when this past week with us going through an actual compass session within the Results Club meeting.
Well, it was just an outstanding. I mean, I got an opportunity with a new speaking service that we're putting together. We just come up with this concept 3 weeks ago and developed a sales page, and I kind of knew that something wasn't quite right. We were missing some points, and to have you and several other members on the call and give me constructive criticism and ideas and inputs and comments is, I think, going to just make this thing pop like crazy in the new year. And it was just invaluable. I've just been waiting to get a link so I can go listen to the replay. I haven't been able to get that yet.
Oh, check your Skype. I put it in your Skype yesterday.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ken.
Not a problem.
I was so focused today, I never even opened my Skype.
Yeah, it took me hours to get it up because we had the world's worst time getting it uploaded. But yeah, it's been there for you, so it's done. Yeah. Dan said you'll hear it on the recording. Are you recording this? Because I can't write fast enough.
Yeah, I think I mean, I've already, and the Results Club hasn't even started yet. I've got my money's worth and more.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. I'm excited about that. You know, I was debating what do I do as a guarantee, you know, and so what I'm going to say as a guarantee for Results Club, because we want everyone happy, is this: if you don't 10x the value of your tuition. So it's $1,000 a year. If you don't pull more than $10,000 out of your relationship with us, I'm going to give your money back, or you can leave the program, and that's just the bottom line. Now that said, you don't get your money back if you don't show up for the meetings and you don't do the work and so on. I mean, it's got to be. We're going to talk about accountability here. This program is to hold you accountable, but if you actually participate and do what you want to do and to get your results, you will far exceed $10,000 of value without any question. Saying 10x is like the easiest thing ever, because you're gonna easily achieve more than that in the way I see it. And again, you got to do it. So that's fantastic. Yeah, Sunita, we will. I got to talk to you about this anyway. So just give me your number and I'll call you after this is over. But this will be recorded for you, so don't worry about it. So not a problem. We are recording this. So anyway, thank you for that. I really appreciate that, Dan. And there's more to come for sure. So very cool. And we have some of our Trailblazers here. Our Trailblazer members are going to be joining us in Results Club as well, moving forward. So I've got some of you guys here as well. If you guys want to say something, you're more than welcome to just put your hand up, and I'll invite you in. But let me jump back to the PowerPoint here real quickly. So what's going to happen is you'll fill out that little form that I showed you on the screen a minute ago, and then what will happen is we'll go through those. Okay, Carol, what's your last name? You raised your hand, but I don't know you. Put in the chat. Okay. So anyway, so complete your membership application. Okay, we'll get that. We'll then set up an interview if it looks like it's going to be a match, and then we'll do the interview. We'll actually do the Compass session together. You'll get to experience what Deb and what Dan, and by the way, you can have a name other than a name that begins with a D. But we'll go ahead and we'll spend some time together and take a look at what we can achieve for you. And that's really good for okay, great, Josie, I'll unmute you in a sec. It's really great for us, because what happens is, and primarily it'll be me that'll be doing those calls this week, I'll get to know what you want, and it really will help me guide the way we all work together. That's super important. I think you'll get a lot more value out of that. Josie, you are unmuted. You're on the air.
Well, hi. I'm still awake, believe it or not. I just can't say enough about what's happened with me since I have been acquainted with Ken and all of the angels. I today finally got my course all finished, and I've been working on doing something like this for years. And I was one of those that didn't know enough, wasn't ready, all those kinds of things. And Ken has been so supportive and made me feel like such a star that I have to perform. So this is a great ride for me. I'm expecting to live to 100, so I've got a few years to get this thing on the road.
Yeah, you do, and you're gonna be great, Josie. Dan said it, I think, best. We got on the call and we clicked. And when we click like that, it makes it so much easier to get the job done. And that was my experience with Josie the same way. We got on a Skype call, and I was at the beach in Thailand, and Josie was at home, and we clicked, and I was like, you got to come into at that point it was called Trailblazers. You got to come into Trailblazers. And Josie's like, well, I'm not sure. Josie, you're coming in. It was one of those things where I don't sell you. I don't need to sell you. If it's right, if it's something you want to do, we'll figure out how to make it work. So I don't want to sell anyone into Results Club. Truly, there's no reason to. I want you guys, if this resonates for you, if you think I can be of service to you, and if you know that this is the right thing for you, then you want to come and join in. So that's how we play. That's how it plays out. So Josie didn't exactly get an invitation. Josie got you got to join us, right, Josie? Was it really like an invitation?
Well, it was like when this is something that's got to happen, and I just was just so excited, and I have been ever since. And I have a long way to go to know enough about the technical side of it, and that was very encouraging to me to know that we would have backup there for to get things done.
Yeah, thanks. And at the end of the day, that's the other lie that we tell ourselves is, I need to know more about technology. No, you don't. You just need to know people that can do it for you. My mom, Josie, you'll be proud of this. My mom last night said to me, I'm researching WordPress. Should I do WordPress or should I do this blog press or something? I said, Mom, A, you should do WordPress, and B, don't worry about it. Just decide what you want to do. And I know people that can help you and at no charge, Mom. So finally, that's like my big win too. So don't worry about the technology. Anybody, don't worry about the technology. That's again another one of those things that we tell ourselves that slows us down. Technology is something that is
Well,
easy to fix.
and you said it right. Of course, you say a lot of things right, but one of the things that you said tonight was that once you get started, the momentum gets going, and all of those things that you worried about that you might not be able to do, people just come out of the woodwork. It just seems to start happening, and it's like build it and they will come.
Yeah. Yep. It's absolutely true. It's magical. So, you guys have been with me for a while today, and you guys have been with me for a while on the list, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. Sylvia, by the way, Sylvia put in the chat, Josie, that she loves your detective photo, and I do. I love it too. It's
Well,
awesome.
I've got a surprise for tomorrow.
Okay. Awesome.
It's going to be up on I'm not sure. Probably G Plus or something.
Okay. Well, cool. By the way, we embrace Google Plus, and Josie is very active in our faculty at TP courses, and so she posts a lot of stuff. So I guess we'll see that tomorrow there. And we are developing, of course, a separate group for Results Club, and that'll be up within the next week or two as well. So there's still more things we're developing for our members. So it's pretty exciting. So let me press on with this, because I know some of you guys actually want to go to bed. But before you do, go and, if this resonates, go to totalpreneur.com/RCVIP, which stands for Results Club VIP. Do your VIP application. It'll take you like 5 minutes. All right. And by the way, you've already done some of the work, because the last question on it is, what are your top 3 things you want to accomplish this year? So you've already done that while we're here today. So it should be pretty simple. Okay. If I'll take a peek at it. If it makes sense, then we'll set you up for the interview. You'll get to choose 3 different times on my scheduler. I'm going to update the scheduler a little bit later today. So I will spend the weekend. I'll make myself available over the weekend, recognizing that we're deadlining this at Christmas. So if you have trouble with timing, just send an email to support@totalpreneur.com if timing doesn't make sense, or just pick any time. All right, and send a note that when you are available, and we'll just make it work. I mean, I'm not going to talk to you between 2 and 5 a.m. my time. That much I can tell you I won't do, because I just physically can't. But otherwise, I will make myself available for you, given the timing on this. My objective is to get 20 people in at the lifetime offer, and then that offer closes. And that offer is going to close at Christmas, and then everyone will be on the annual plan after that, and then it goes up to $2,500 a year, and from there, who knows? I mean, it's worth significantly more. But for you guys coming in as charter members, I want to reward you for that, and I'm going to do something as crazy as that, just to again build that momentum and get you telling everybody about why it's fabulous. So it's a super way. And by the way, one thing about what we do is we're always transparent. Josie's seen this as being a member of our Trailblazers for so long. Whatever we do business-wise, I tell you exactly what I do and why I do it. So I'm willing to say, come in with a lifetime membership, because first of all, I know there's other things we'll do together, number one, and number two, as raving fans, you will bring in tons more people to our universe. So I want people coming in as raving evangelists, and I'm going to remove every bit of friction I can for my charter members. Make sense? So that's the strategy behind doing this. I encourage you guys, and of course we'll talk about that as you join us each week. But that's the purpose of the way we work together, is really by helping you understand what we do. We are the process, and that's the beauty of you're seeing how the business unfolds. So set up your interview. If it's a match, I'll give you an invitation. You'll get a link. You'll pay for it. We're good to go. You'll be in the next call. There will not be a Results Club call this coming week for Christmas, and Josie, probably Trailblazers will be off as well on Monday, just again because it's Christmas week, so that email has to go out to folks. So we'll be starting just after Christmas to kick some serious butt and take some serious names. So that's where it's going. So Nita, I'll talk to you about that, because you, my friend, are you got something special. I'll tell you when I talk to you. So I mentioned the whoops. I guess was I done with this presentation already? Hang on a minute. I guess the presentation's finished. How about that? No, here we go. So it's a safe decision completely. Obviously, I got the wrong link on this. Disregard that at the bottom. If there's anybody that's unhappy with this, here's our refund policy, unlike everybody. Okay, it's what happened, what should have happened, how can we make it right? Because the people that say no questions asked, we give you back your money, I think they miss an opportunity to learn how they can do better. I talked about Net Promoter Score earlier, and I forgot what it was called. You'll learn more about that in Results Club. It's fundamental to what I believe you want to do in your business. We want to know what we can do to make things right. I'm not running things like Nordstrom, where if you're bringing a tire that you bought at Sears, we're going to give you your money back. I learned over the past few months, actually, that because we're going to talk about accountability and responsibility, people actually have to do what they say and contribute. And if things don't work, we'll play. But you don't just come in as victim. You know what I'm saying? I think people need to stand up and be responsible. So we don't fight anybody on a refund. Don't misunderstand. But if we're giving a refund, we want to make sure people actually got what they paid for, that they actually got the results that they wanted. It's really about that. When you buy something, that's the bottom line. Okay. So if you want to make your marketing tons more effective, become more effective and fast, and create power and influence as if it's on autopilot, and create the freedom and confidence that you deserve in your life rapidly, then this is definitely designed for you, completely designed for you. And if you're feeling the excitement that I'm feeling right now, I'm so excited about being able to offer this to you, then what I want you to do is go to totalpreneur.com/RCVIP, which stands for Results Club VIP. Complete the form on there. There's no money involved. It's completely free. Even the compass session with me is completely free. If I invite you to join and you say no, there's no obligation. You can completely take advantage of me for an hour, get some great strategy to put into place, and move on and never talk to me again. You can completely do that. That would be probably silly, but you could do that. That's it. So you guys have watched the entire presentation. Thank you for being with us. You want to maximize your marketing and build your business. You know it's an excellent value, and you want to learn more and find out if you'll be invited to become a member. So start your VIP membership now. Just go to totalpreneur.com/RCVIP, and that way you can experience that same stuff as Dan and Josie and Deborah and Doriana's been quiet, but Doriana as well. Dan says, buckle your seatbelts for the call, Dan says. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about getting those results. Sylvia, you and I had a live compass session last January in St. Thomas. And, take no prisoners. I will do what I need to do to help you achieve what you want to achieve. If you want to create results, it will be my honor to help you. It will be my honor and my privilege to help you, because it's what I'm here for. So that's it. Any questions, you guys? Anything you want to know that I can assist you with at this point? Happy to do so. Otherwise, just get your paperwork, your digital paperwork done ASAP. Because again, I can't. Oh, hi, Steve. I didn't see you here. So that way we can get you on board and get your interview done and get you on board, because I'd love to have you take advantage of that. Good night, Dan. Thank you. Dan says he learned a lot again tonight. Fantastic. That's great. Excellent. And Dan, I really appreciate you as a cheerleader tonight. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, well then, everybody, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to meeting some of you on a compass session over the next few days, and welcoming you to Results Club, so we can all create some world domination together and have some fun, make some money, and change some lives. Thank you all so much, and Sunit, I'll talk to you shortly.